Oh, I gotta take mine off.
Hey, Liz.
Hello.
Hi. So, as you've seen in the voice note, I wanted to go over the new concepts first, explain the meaning of the government, go over the purposes, then explain the types of governments. Before that, I started by making the students watch a video. This way they can have an idea about what they're going to learn about. I know that videos increase students' engagement, it can increase knowledge retention, and those are two other reasons why I wanted to start with a video. So, and the 3-2-1 activity, I planned it as a formative assessment so that I can gather data about my students' learning, which will allow me to plan for my instructions in my next lesson. For the activity, I plan to divide students heterogeneously. This way, students can learn from each other. I also assign tasks dependent on students' strengths and weaknesses. For example, an ESL student can be the artist and draw what he or she understood from the collaboration with the peers. As you can see, I also use the app or voice thread, so it can give the students time to pause and process the knowledge being taught. Students can take their time going over slides one at a time and understand what is being taught, then move on. So this is the general idea behind my lesson, and I'm looking forward to your feedback.
Okay. So, I liked the presentation. I thought it was very informative. Just by going through the slides, there was definitely a lot of information, but you also were explaining it at the same time. So it kind of gives that visual and the students able to like read it on their own as well. It gives that dual learning styles. And then also the video, getting them a little bit more interested in it and getting out the kind of the main idea of everything, and then having them write down a little bit about what they understood. I did like the idea of the 3-2-1. It was writing things that you don't know and things that you're surprised about and struggling with. I thought was a good idea, because then, yeah, that could get to be an easy document that they could fill out. One thing that I would suggest with that would maybe be like having it on one document and having it as a whole class, and like having maybe boxes of where students have their names or something and they have to fill in what they know, so that maybe other students could almost like collaborate with them. And maybe that could be part of, like, you'd have a different document for the different groups, and that could be kind of like a good starting point of when you do your whole group.
Yeah.
Or your groups that about the different governments. When you do your governments groups, what is the outcome? Are they expected to do a presentation or
Yes, I mentioned that in my lesson plan, is that once they are done with the activity, they are going to do a group presentation. And it's whether I'm going to like, they're going to record themselves. They're going to meet outside of this meeting, and they're going to record themselves talking to each other and present what they've created to everyone else, and then share it with everyone else.
Okay, how would they do that?
So they're going to, so what's the plan is that they're going to have like a Zoom meeting, like together, like when they're working together, they're going to have a Zoom meeting, and they're going to record themselves presenting that presentation, and then they're going to send me their recordings, and then I will share it with everybody else. Like, okay, we're going to be in a class and we're going to share it with everybody else.
Okay. And with the artists, you had said something about like how they draw out the country, and so the different roles in the task: the facilitator, the writer, the translator, the artist. um, with the, I guess, expectation of those pieces, um, how are they going to work simultaneously together, I guess? Or is it going to be individual and then they come back together? Or is it going to be like they're doing Zoom meetings a lot to try and facilitate what they're going to be doing on, say, like if they do a Google Slides or something like that?
So what I've imagined it to happen is that, so in first they're going to meet and talk about their project and how they're going to do it on their own. Then what I'm imagining is once they are done meeting with each other, I'm going to do another Zoom meeting where I'm going to put them in breakout rooms, and then they're going to discuss what they're supposed to do, and I will be there as a facilitator and answer questions and make things more simpler to them if they have any questions or something like that, and at the same time observe how they're doing things and correct them.
Okay. And let's see. Would this presentation be after, or how long do you think the present or the whole lesson would take?
What do you mean? My lesson or their presentation?
Both. Like what would be the time? Would it be like a unit that you're doing, basically? Like a 6-week unit kind of thing?
So for the lesson plan that I've submitted, it's just one lesson, but the whole thing is like a whole unit, yes.
Okay. And so they would be doing this kind of simultaneously along with learning more about it as well?
Yes.
Or would this be an after summative assessment?
No, this is going, so the presentation is going to be after summative assessments, and I'm going to grade them by having a rubric with me, but at the same time, when they are working on it, it's going to be simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So any other changes I should add?
With the constitutional monarchy, there's no voice. Did you want it to stay that way, or were you going to make a voice with that?
No, I
speech
think
thing?
I've put a voice with it. I explained this, no?
Not that I see anyway.
Okay, I'll make the changes then. Because
it might be on my side, but
yeah, I'll add it.
Okay. And then when you're doing the video, or when you ask for watching the video again, I would almost link it back into the slides almost, for them to watch it again, so they don't, thinking of the kids, like instead of going back to the slides and watching it, put it right there for them to watch it again.
Okay.
So then they don't have any excuse that it's right there for them, that it's in that sequence, that, and maybe even cutting out parts or making it a little bit shorter. But for the most part, or like say, watch up until this time, watch for these types of governments, or now that you've watched this, watch it again and watch for these types of governments and take notes on them, or something like that.
Okay.
And then actually have the link in there for them to watch it again.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
I'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
And then I think that was it. And you explained clearly at the beginning with understanding like what is the purpose of a government. And it was good to have the, like you had kind of the higher level thinking, higher level words and understanding, like established laws and providing for the general welfare, but then you go in and you explain it a little bit more when you're talking, and kind of giving a generalization to help those students that might not be at that level. So that was a good way to differentiate too. I think that's it. That's all I got for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.